or, you know, get in trouble with talking about YouTubers and saying that they suck at solving an escape room, despite, I think, thinking themselves very, very smart. That's what I get for trying to be sassy and cool. Spilled coffee all over myself.
Please stand by.
Well, hello there. Welcome back to my supremely cluttered, messy bookshelf area. And suddenly I need to decorate up there a little better and reorganize it, because apparently somehow between the first time I started filming in this spot and now, my posture is better, I think, because my head reaches a little too high to hide that line of bookshelf. So welcome to, you can see, another half inch of something. It's pretty early in the morning and I'm still only on my second cup of coffee, which is vital. I had asked you guys on Instagram, because Instagram is, you know, where a lot of you hang out with me, which is really cool, but I asked y'all on Instagram to pick a crazy work story that I have. My work history is not vast, in that most of the jobs I have been the same jobs over time, but it's pretty colorful. So I had you pick 2 of 4 stories, and some of them were actually pretty close, so if you actually end up enjoying this video, then maybe let me know and we can do another poll and see what work story you want to hear next. But first, coffee. I am the epitome of all those really awful things that's just, you know, have the slogan, but first coffee, because it makes me so much better. And I think a lot of it is placebo, because I can drink a cup of coffee before bed and not have a problem, though generally I have tea before bed, but like, I think a lot of it's placebo of having a warm beverage in the morning. But I digress, because you did not come here to know about my relationship with coffee. You came here to know about the crazy things that happen in places that I have worked, where I do not have an NDA. So when I asked you on Instagram, you guys chose, not quite as unanimously as I might have expected, to hear about the bookstore break-in and to hear about the YouTubers in escape rooms. We're gonna start with the bookstore and stick around to hear about the YouTubers in the escape room. I worked at a chain bookstore for about almost 5 years. And I say almost because I know I did not work there for 5 years, because I did not get the 5-year pin that you get when you work there for 5 years. What a great story already, Amy. So for a while I worked in the books, and then eventually I moved on and mostly worked in toys and games, which means that anything that was in the bookstore that wasn't books fell under my jurisdiction. At this point, I was not in charge of toys and games, though that happened eventually. But I worked with one of my best friends. She is also on YouTube, and I will see if she wants a shout out, because if not, I'm not gonna reveal who she is. If she doesn't mind it, then she'll be either in the iCard or the description. She's pretty great. This happened during what I do believe was like a bigger changeover time, which generally means that whatever the displays going on in the store are, they're going to change over. And usually we tried to do that, because we were such a big store, we tried to do that outside of open hours before customers got in. Especially toys and games, because we had to cart out these big giant carts of things, and I don't know, this is not the story for this, but the terror that parents and children cause in toys and games departments is unprecedented and really quite rude sometimes. But that's a different story time if you want to hear just all about the horrors of parents and children in a giant store where parents think it is a daycare. Anyway, we're coming in probably around, I think we came in a little bit earlier that day. This has been a little while. I remember most of the stuff, but it was a little bit earlier, so generally me and her were the first people in with one of the managers. We would wait outside until the manager got there and could let us in. So usually it was between 6:40 and 7:15 in the morning. Like, in that span of time, it was when we would go in. Now, it was always really early in the morning, and sometimes there would be a little bit of mess left over from where, you know, things hadn't gotten able to be cleaned up during the night. So, like, seeing things out of place was not unprecedented. Okay? We walk in, and it's a normal day. You know, the store is empty, we have to turn the escalators on, we have to go upstairs. All of The stuff that we needed to do and all the stuff we needed to get was up on the 3rd floor. You have to pass the 2 other floors to go there. It's a pretty normal journey, you know, we spiral around going up. Now there's nothing really weird or anything that seems out of place until we get to the top of the last escalator on the 3rd floor. You walk out onto the customer service where you always see people standing and all that. And on top of the desk of customer service is a billfold, like one of the really thin wallets. That's unusual. My friend and I go check it out while the manager goes to the manager's office to start up the rest of the stuff. We look at this wallet, like, I guess someone forgot to put this in lost and found, or maybe they didn't leave a note saying, hey, can we call this person so we can tell them we found their wallet. It was just odd, you know, to have it just sitting smack dab center on this desk. We follow the manager and go put our stuff away. Then we come back out to go to receiving, which is where all of the excess product is stocked. Not enough to fill an entire other store, people who want you to go check the back. So we go back there because all the stuff that we need to put out and change over and fix for the day is in there. There's a computer in there to pull up all the projects that we need to do. And, you know, it's the general order of work for the day. We aren't seeing anything really weird when we're back in receiving. And we haven't really gotten to go out on the floor yet to really take a check and see where we're at for the morning. We get over the PA system, I guess. I don't know if that's what it's called in like a store. We hear our manager call us to come back to the manager's office because she needs to show us something. And we need to do it right now and not dally and not take any more time. We need to come to the manager's office right then. It is very important. Her voice is very insistent. It's very much, listen to me right now. Get out of receiving. So we go to the manager's office, which is over by the break room. In there is all the TVs where they can watch the security footage. Generally what the managers do is kind of look through the security footage, see what's going on, see what has happened and all that kind of stuff for the night, check to make sure everything's okay and all that. And it wasn't okay. And our manager, she's a tough lady. She is definitely not one to like get really freaked out really easy. She has us come over to where the main computer is that she's looking at the security footage from, and she shows us a man. Now this man was out on the 3rd floor somewhere. We watch as he runs, not quite runs, but like walks very quickly back into receiving, where he had propped open the door because the door into receiving from the store has a code on it. So if you don't have that code, you cannot get in, but you can get out. So we watch as he, oh yeah, that was the weird thing, that the receiving door was open. But it's not that odd given that the last people in the store are people who are working with us, and it's possible that people just leave it propped open, you know, so they can get in and out faster while they're putting stuff away. It's not that weird. We watch as the man on this footage goes into receiving, goes around to the back door where the deliveries are brought in, opens it because apparently it's unlocked at that point, and leaves out those doors. That would be really freaky under any circumstances, because it lets you know that someone who was not supposed to be in the store was in the store, and that, you know, there was a breach in security. But timing was that when he left to go run back into receiving and out the back door was when myself, my friend, and my manager were coming in. We had just been in receiving not 10 minutes after this man had just left out the back door. To say very little, we were pretty freaked out. It was not normal. It was not okay. My manager has us grab our bags and exit like very quickly, go downstairs, down all the escalators, down at the front door to call the security of the mall that we're in. We wait, and she goes and she finds one of the security guards for the mall and lets him know what just happened. And so he goes and checks where the back door meets the street, which is, you know, down a few stories, but it meets in a place behind the store. But the door there, I do believe, was locked. So that generally means that the man was probably in that hallway after the last delivery of the day came through that door. that ground level door that people use to come up to deliver to our store. Which means that that man was likely waiting in that hallway to try to come through the receiving door for quite a few hours while we were still open, but no one knows because we don't have cameras that go into that hallway. And we don't communicate often enough with the security in the mall to know what that is. People do go in and out of there. It's a delivery system. It's the back alleyways. It's the Disney tunnels of this mall. We're freaked, and they don't see any sign of the man out there. So they have us wait while the security guy goes up and down in the store to kind of check it out. And they don't find anybody, but they find a little bit more of a mess that we haven't gotten to see yet. So they have us come back inside. And that was a choice. And while my friend and I are told to go back to doing what we're supposed to be doing, so our job, we are doing that, and one of our other managers gets there, because generally, like, we have a couple managers, we're kind of going about our business when one of our other managers gets there. So we're working, and we see our manager on the phone with somebody, and he's talking very, very, like, abruptly and very demanding. And so not too long after that, we see actual police, not just the mall security, but the actual, like, the equivalent of LAPD for the city that we're in. They come up, there's a bunch of them, there's at least like 5 or 6 of them, and they are kind of going through and coming in and out of receiving, and me and my friend are trying to figure out what's happening, and they're telling us not to get involved, but it's weird. And in the time that we've been setting up, we found a lot of disturbance over in the gift area. So we found chocolate wrappers, we found crumbs, and we found just like a lot of mess. Now, that's freaky enough. But at that point, you know, we are hoping that this guy just ran away and that we'll not have to really figure it out, but the police are here. So we've realize something immediately is happening, like maybe they're coming to investigate how he got in, maybe they're gonna go like do their crime stuff and see about all the things the back to make sure it doesn't happen again. Nope. No. That is not why they're there. They're there because they've checked like the mall security, they've checked our security cameras, the mall security cameras, and that guy never left. Okay, that guy, when he ran out, when we came in the store, that time frame of overlap in this store, he did not leave. No, he did not try to get out. As far as we can tell, he did not try to exit. Instead, he decided to go to the roof. Yeah, this guy just like went up to the roof and has been chilling there this entire time. It's been almost 2 hours. We are about to like have time to open the store. It's been almost 2 hours that this dude has been sitting on the roof while we've just been in the store, which means he could have easily come back down while me and my friend were in receiving trying to get things and just shown up. Believe me, after this, my friend and I were kind of pissed at how this turned out because it felt like being put in danger for retail. And I love books, I love games, I love collectibles, I love the stuff, obviously, but not enough to put my life on the line for some crazy dude. We watch as these 5 police officers storm through receiving and out the back the receiving door while one of our managers watches and the other one hangs back with me and my friend. And we watch and it's like, it's quiet for a little bit and they come back down with this dude. And this dude looks wigged out of his mind. Like, he might have been on something, he might have just not been okay in general, but he looks messed up, okay? He does not look like he is functioning in a normal way that makes you feel like this was a sane person breaking into a store. I don't know. I don't make any attempts to know what was wrong with this dude other than something was just very clearly not right. But they also bring down everything that he took up there with him. And the stuff that they brought down that he had taken was just so weird. He had taken one of our summer beach bags. So we have a bunch of these like tote bags and they were the summer version and they're pretty hefty. They're like this big and so you can fit a lot of stuff in them. And he had taken one, shoved it full of stuff and went upstairs. I don't know if he had that planned as like an escape, or like I'm gonna have a picnic and oh no, I guess my shopping just got cut short because people came inside, or what have you. But he had taken a bunch of stuff, and he had taken things like cookies, chocolate wrappers, you know, random gift items like pens and pencils, and the Spanish version of Hillary Clinton's autobiography, which was quite a choice, and just random stuff. He hadn't even taken the filler out of the bag, and we're looking at it like, what happened? And we figured out how he got into the store. Like, our receiving manager, when she came in and found out all the stuff that had happened, you know, was checking the door and figuring it out, and since then it's been fixed. So this is not a how to break into this chain bookstore. This has been remedied so that this does not happen again. But we figured out that he like jimmied a thing open and just, you know, snuck in and just was hanging out in this empty store until, you know, it was abruptly stopped by us coming in for the workday. When people break into your store, I would just, you know, not let your managers tell you to go back inside, and maybe wait until the police check it out so they can find the dude hiding on the roof. On the roof! And the way that they handled it was not my favorite. The way that they handled the aftermath of like me and my friend about just telling us to kind of not talk about it was not my favorite. And, you know, that's why you make a YouTube channel. Cheers to that. From there, we are going to jump to the job that I had 2 jobs after that bookstore. The escape room. That's right, I worked in an escape room, and I think I've talked about it in my last crazy work story video that I made, like my weirdest job ever or whatever that is. I'll put something here to let you know, and there will be an iCard, one of these 2 places, so that you know, and you can watch that if you would like. This is kind of a follow-up from that video, just to, you know, share the things that have happened in this life. And if you guys have had some really weird work stories, I would love to hear them. So if you want to leave them down in the comments, please go right ahead. I am fascinated by work history like this, because you think a job is one thing and then it turns out to be something completely different, and it's you can't make this kind of stuff up. Like, that's the weirdest thing with work stories, is you can't make it up. I, at that point, had not worked at the current job that I have, and so I did not have any prior knowledge to any specific people involved. Let me set up the landscape for you, okay? We're gonna set up this atmosphere. I specifically dressed like this mostly for this story. Actually, I have this. Ooh. Look at that hood action. So I worked in an escape room, and my job was host. So what I would do is, either, depending on the room that you're in, I would either be on the walkie-talkie with you and like helping you through the room, or I would be in the room with you as a character. This particular story has to do with the hooded figure, also known as like the Guardian. It was not this cloak. This is a $5 cloak that I've already broken, hence the safety pin here. The general look of it was wearing my hood about here, and you would see this part of my face. Usually I would wear like a really fun colored lipstick and hold my hands like this in the very long sleeves that we had. Like, yes, I am the guardian of this sacred area. Mwaha. I digress. I can't see with that on my head, which is also a problem a lot of times in this escape room. At the day of this particular story, I was wearing my shiny purple lipstick, which I might have actually been wearing in the other work video, but did not feel like wearing for this day because I think I have to film 2 different videos today, and it was a little too obvious. But I did choose this outfit to most temple guard up myself that I could with the stuff that I had. I was a temple guardian. That means that I am in this room with you. I am in my cloak and my hooded figure. My job is generally to just kind of spook you and make sure that you solve this room in the allotted 1 hour that you have. Hopefully fast enough that at the end I can be like, oh wow, you did this so fast. You're great. You did this so well. Yay. And mostly just make sure you're having fun, you know, poke fun at you while you are struggling and make you kind of lead you in a fun way to different things. You're supposed to say everything in a very mysterious voice and kind of be like, I do not think you need to look that way. Or, one may say that the most important thing for you right now is time. I don't know why this accent's coming out. This is not the accent that I used while being a temple guardian, but whatever, we're going with it right now. That was my character. And so what would happen is we had 2 rooms. It looked like one room, and then you would reveal later on a hidden room. Whoa. And it was a pretty standard room. It looked like a study, and there were 4 to 5 puzzles that you needed to solve in that room to get to the next room. Well, as the YouTube connoisseur that I was in there waiting, and I'm minding my own business. My job is to stand looking at the bookcase head on until the entire party comes in, so that, you know, you don't know I'm real. Lots of really awful things happen because of that. Not in this story, but lots of really awful things happen when people think that you're not real. I wait, everyone crowds in, and I hear that it's a very large group. Like, at least 8 people. And our max is about 9, because eventually it becomes too crowded and too hard to manage people, because you have to make sure that they listen to you. One of the reasons that you try to, like, put on that air of, like, don't F with the scary person is because it's hard to control groups unless they see you as an authority figure. So, this happens. I turn around. There's a couple jumps as people are like, oh my god, she's real! And also register that, like, the game has begun. Things are afoot. Because as you're coming in, they're told that you're in there alone. And that's why it's like spooky, scary times. It was the spooky room. Well, not the spooky room. The spooky room I only did twice with somebody else, which is fine because I hated it. And I start to get a vague familiarity of who is in the room with me. I'm like, I know I've seen these people before. I don't want to name drop the channel because I don't want to make bad blood between anybody with anything that I have to say. It was an ensemble. It was definitely like a team bonding night. It was an ensemble. I had definitely been familiar with it, but it's not a channel that I have any personal link to or any personal, like, affiliation with. So take with that as you will. It was the current half of a very popular YouTube channel ensemble, is all I will say. There are people in there, there's a large group, and some of them are looking really excited, some of them aren't. You can tell that they're a little bit loose. I think that they probably had like a dinner before this because it was late. It was around like 8 o'clock at night when they scheduled their room. So I imagine they went to dinner first and maybe had some alcohol or something beforehand. So everyone was a little loose and a little more free than potentially they would have been otherwise, which is fine. I've handled more than that, and believe me, birthday parties for children are worse, usually. The one that almost got into this video was the hand, which was another. People went to dinner, had some drinks, and came to do an escape room. That turned out much worse than this. They were nice, and you could tell that, like, they're fairly smart people, but it's really easy within the first, like, 5-10 minutes of them actually starting the puzzles to realize where people fall in the groups of people. I want to putter around and see if I find things. I want to take charge and tell you what to look at. And I'm not playing. When you get large groups, you get at least one of the people who's like, I don't care. There were 2 guys in this group who decided that they did not care about playing this game. They would much rather talk to the magic lady. That's me. Everywhere I went was followed by these 2 dudes, and one of them is definitely the most popular person on this YouTube channel. And it was very odd, and And I cannot look at him the same way after this because he just kept following me around, calling me Magic Lady. It was him and this other dude. And the two of them were just like, I don't understand what this game was. It wasn't mean. Like, it wasn't mean-spirited that I could tell. It was just like, we're comedy people. Let's be funny and make this lady think that we're really fun, cool people. It was fine. Like, I was not impressed because I am stuck in here doing my job, sirs. And every time that you try to talk to me and ask me what my favorite Halsey song is, because you assume that I like Halsey, I do, but you assume that I like Halsey because of whatever this is, your friends are tearing up this place. There was one dude who was, I think, also one of the main people from this show, and he was angry. Like, he was angry that he was not figuring out these puzzles so much, and as like the person hosting the room, it's easy to figure out like who's okay to be poked fun at and who's not. They were struggling, and they struggled a fair bit. If you hit the 40-minute mark and you haven't gotten to one of the last two puzzles, you are very close to failing this room. And we're not supposed to let that happen. These people, while I was being interviewed for my life as a Magic Lady, I was just watching these people struggle so much, and just there's so many ways to say it, but they needed so much help. And once people realize that they need help, that's when they start to seem like they're not having as much fun. Usually, I could tell that the one guy was really like annoyed that this was taking so long, but they had one person. They kept finding things. They kept finding things. And this is why, like, we have recommended sizes for people going into these rooms, because when there's too many people, you don't communicate well. And this dude found like 4 different things really early on and just left them. Like, he looked in the secret place, found the secret thing, was like, looks at me, puts it back, and walks away. He did that like 4 times, and I'm just like, ugh. When they're struggling and they're getting close to that 40-minute mark, I'm like, I think one of your friends has not been as truthful with you of what they have found. And, you know, you turn that group on their friend. Team bonding. And you can tell that they're trying to see if I know who they are. And I have a pretty good face of like, I don't care. Because, for the most part, I don't care. I just want to know why. Like, dudes, Mr. and Mr. Magic Lady, why? Why were you, what was the point of your bit? Like, was there, like, were you just bored? Were you, like, I don't know. It was very odd. It was these 2 dudes who just kept coming up on either side of me, and, like, I'm a fairly secure person in a lot of ways, so, like, I don't know if it was flirting. I don't know if it was like a game to see who could make me break, which is a game people like to play. It to the host in the room is to see if you can make her break character. You can't. The only thing you can potentially do is accidentally see the phone that I have a hairband to my wrist so I can have a timer. So, YouTubers in escape rooms. From the point of view of the escape room person. I have done one escape room with YouTubers that is a different parallel to this, but this was me hosting a bunch of YouTubers in an escape room, and it was just funny because it's funny because they're comedy people, and you can see them trying to do bits as they solve things and get frustrated because comedy's not going to solve these puzzles for you, and comedy's not going to make you know how to open a lock. Goodness. So they got out within their hour, and, you know, under the hour, congratulations, you did the thing! Yay! My Magic Lady boys bid me adieu and went on their way. And then I saw them again at VidCon from far away and was like, but who knows if they remember the Magic Lady. Again, I'm not personally affiliated with any of these people, and I have no personal relationship with them. I do not know them in real life. I have never met them. So any assumptions I make are purely based on my experiences, and I will say they were very nice people overall. Just a little pissed that they couldn't solve the room without help. Thank you for listening to my fun work stories. I hope that you had fun, and I hope that you got what you wanted out of this kind of thing. If you would like to hear more stories like when they broke the hand, or I don't know, other things in the bookstore, the craft store, the escape room, working as an extra in different movies and TV shows, any of that kind of stuff, let me know in the comments below, and I can make another fun work story talky video. They're fun to do. It's fun to reminisce of other times in my life, but again, so long as I don't have an NDA saying I can't talk about it, we can spill the coffee. Sorry, let me do that again because the cute side of my mug was not facing you. We can spill the coffee. Thank you so much for watching, and if you had fun, please subscribe and stick around because I'm making more videos and I'm trying to learn how to be a consistent person. If you have things that you would like to see me try to do, whether it's this, whether it's something D&D, whether it's a craft, what have you, let me know because I'm up to pretty much anything these days, and I am super excited that you took the time to spend with me here today. Until next time, stay kind, play more games, and stay magic. Bye!